Belonging is a felt experience of feeling welcome. Welcome in our body, welcome in a relationship, welcome in the world at large, in our environment. And when we are holding unresolved trauma, particularly if that trauma is relational trauma, one of the things that happens is we simply feel like we don't belong here, like we don't belong in our bodies, we don't belong in relationships, or our family, or our community, or we don't even belong in the world. And so it's a really common experience to feel perhaps like we're in the wrong body, or we've been born into the wrong family, or born at the wrong time or the wrong location in the world. And so one of the ways we can begin to remedy is by beginning with connecting to a sense of belonging in the body. And so for this practice, we're going to lie down on our back, and you can use a pillow if you want, or you can be flat on your back. And we're going to place one hand over the heart and one hand over the stomach and connect to the felt experience of belonging in the body and belonging in the physical environment that we're in and belonging in the world. And if you feel comfortable with this practice as we go, something that you can do to extend it is to actually open your arms out wide and take up more space. So when we feel like we belong, we feel safe to take up more space. And if you do feel safe to expand in this way, you can see also what it's like to invite your breath to sort of travel and become more expansive. So rather than just being present here in your torso, to bring your attention and your breath all the way out to your fingers and palms as well. And if you do that and it feels like it's a bit too much, again, you have the power and the agency to come back and to come back into this slightly more protected position, but the whole time exploring the felt sense and the invitation to belonging in your body, in the physical space, in the world. And the affirmation from the book that we're going to pair with this is, I belong here, in my body, in the world. And if for a very long time, and perhaps for forever, you've felt like perhaps you don't belong in your body or relationships or the world, this exercise can trigger a felt sense of grief and perhaps even confusion. And so if that does happen for you, you may also feel a sense of the body wanting to contract. So 2 inquiries for yourself as you engage in this somatic practice are, if I'm feeling grief, can I welcome it? Can I allow myself to grieve this time of my life where I didn't feel like I can belong? And if the body wants to contract, can you allow yourself to follow its impulse? So it might be that you want to bring your knees up to your chest. It might be that you want to lie on your side. What does your body want? And here we're inviting agency. So again, when we feel like we truly belong, we feel like we can express ourselves and have choices. So we're somatically inviting that through this practice. So let's give it a go. So I'm lying down. So get comfortable. Make sure you just have a wiggle and getting into a position that feels good for you. And you're going to bring one hand over your belly, your navel area, and one hand over your heart. And just take a moment to settle. And then breathe in to the areas where your hands are, your belly and your heart. Remembering that you belong here. And you can connect to the affirmation internally, or you can express it. I belong here, in my body, in the world. And notice if your breath naturally becomes fuller. That's what's happening for me. And if it feels safe, you can bring your palms out and bring your breath all the way into your hands. And again, connecting to that affirmation, I belong here, in my body, in the world. And actually for me, what happens here is that I feel all these muscles relax in my upper back. So I felt like I've just dropped into the floor, like it's safe to actually be here, to belong here. But see what feels real and true for you. What do you experience? And you may like to stay here for a few more breaths and affirm to yourself a few more times just how much you belong. Or you may feel like it feels more intuitive to bring your hands back over to your belly and your chest. In which pose do you feel the greatest sense of belonging? And you can play with that as much as you like. Isn't it nice to finally feel that true sense of belonging here? In the end, that's something that we're all seeking and all deserve.